Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So it's been a lot of uproar about a new date that's been released yet again for Errol the Truth Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford. July 29th. That's been the date that's thrown around. Another Mike Cappinger report. You see different media outlets reporting this. A lot of different content creators reporting this. I seen Undisputed, with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. They, made did a segment on it. And people are excited, rightfully so. Something that has been more promising than previous date releases. Terrence Crawford actually posted an image on his Instagram page similar to Errol Spence with the shark knocking on the door, coming to get that fourth belt from Terrence Crawford. You know what the fuck coming. You know it. Terrence Crawford posted himself looking like a ghetto version of Aquaman with some type of spear, with a shark at the end of the spear, like he done, went fishing and shit, looking like a ghetto fisherman and shit, you know what I'm saying? A ghetto superhero and shit, you feel what I'm saying? But, all that shit look good, it sound good. Like I said, man, for me I've always said that I need to see Bud posted on his IG, which he has. Even on his website, he's selling merch with that image on the front of the shirt. And on his website, it has, Crawford Spence, date July 29th, venue T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. That's dope. I love it. Haven't seen Errol Spence posted yet, but I'm pretty sure, they probably ironing out some things. And if it is official, then we should see Errol Spence start promoting this fight soon as well, right? If you look at Errol Spence's IG, he's had that image that he put out on his merch pinned as the #1 photo since forever, since like the Ugas fight. So that's been there. Errol Spence has said, and I told y'all in a recent video, Errol Spence sitting out because he only want to fight Bud. That's the only fight he want. Then he did the interview with his girl. He reiterated the same shit that I told y'all before that interview dropped. The reason why I'm sitting out is because I don't want to fight nobody but him. So we know what Errol Spence wants. And I believe that Errol Spence has been working tirelessly behind the scenes to make this fight happen. He even took a different approach by being more involved in talking on the phone with Terrence Crawford on a consistent basis, keeping that communication, keeping that, keeping his presence felt within the negotiations, because that's one of the gripes that Terrence Crawford had the first time around. So, all that shit sound good. I'm not gonna, be, saying this is what's gonna happen, this the date, all this, until I see both fighters posted on their IGs and on their social media. When I see a press conference lined up, if the date is July 29th, I also posted Errol Spence saying that he's starting his first day of count, which if you count the weeks from when I posted that, which was this week, 8 to 10 weeks is typical for a time frame for a training camp. That leads up to July 29th. It actually leads up to that week prior. And then, of course, the week of the fight, motherfuckers really not training like that. At that point, you training, but it's light. And at that point, you really just couldn't wait. You know what I'm saying? That last week, you see the real transformation of the weight cut. So it all adds up. But again, the fans have been hoodwinked and bamboozled multiple times with this fight. I can count at least maybe 3 or 4 dates that have been thrown out there. But this is the most promising it's been. So that's good. But I just want to say this. If the fight is indeed in motion, which I hope that it is, because, Errol Spence is one of my favorite fighters. Terrence Crawford, one of my favorite fighters, you know, and this is a great fight. And y'all all know my stances on this fight. I have Earl Spence winning this fight for many reasons. I've broken this fight down in every way imaginable. You dig what I'm saying? And I want to also say that the closer this fight gets to being made, I'm gaining more confidence that Earl Spence wins this fight. It's funny that we just had the Devin Haney and Lomachenko fight. Now I know Lomachenko ain't Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford, and Devin Haney ain't Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford. But you know they say styles make fights, and stylistically, Devin Haney took a different approach in that fight with Lomachenko, coming forward, attacking the body, being the ring general. Lomachenko is a guy who has historically started late, at least on the second half of his career. He's been starting later, focusing more on, you know, patience and setting up shots, running guys into shots. You know, of course, Loma being more of a front foot fighter, looking for traps to set an angle so he can land that straight left hand. Even though his style is not necessarily like Crawford's, the fact that he takes a few rounds to kind of download data like Bud does, and he's not necessarily a knockout artist like Bud, but he turns it up mid to late in the fight. That's when he really starts having his most success, especially fighting a bigger guy. For Terrence Crawford, you've seen that trend with him. He'll, you know, take a few rounds to kind of see what the opponent is bringing to him, and then that's when he starts, you know, finding that rhythm and finding that timing and landing those big shots, and then ultimately gets the KO for Lomachenko, who's not necessarily a knockout artist. He finds that timing and finds that rhythm and finds his pace that he wants to fight in the fight, and then he starts imposing that on his opponent. But remember, I always said that Terrence Crawford has to knock out Earl Spence in order to win. He's not going to win on the cards because of the activity of Earl Spence, because of the ring generalship of Earl Spence, because of the body work of Earl Spence, because of the ring IQ and the intelligence of Earl Spence, knowing how to apply intelligent pressure, knowing how to walk you down behind the jab, investing in the body early, putting those early rounds in the bank so that when he catches his second win, and he will catch his second win. We know that Earl Spence historically gets stronger as the fights go on. He's going to be piling on and piling on. And by the time Terrence Crawford actually, and again, I just said, Devin Haney ain't Earl Spence and Lomachenko ain't Terrence Crawford, but the difference is, you see how Devin kind of faded a little bit late in that fight. Earl Spence actually going to be picking shit up. You feel what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford going to have to knock Earl Spence out, because at the time that Earl really picking up steam, he done already got rounds in the bank. Terrence Crawford going to be picking up his rhythm in the mid rounds too, round like 4, 5, 6. That's when Terrence Crawford gonna be picking it up. But at that time, he gonna be having to find that perfect kill shot. And if he don't find that kill shot, and we know Earl Spence got a motherfucking chin on him, if he can't hurt Earl, number one, if he can't hurt him early in the fight, Earl ain't gonna respect him. The beatdown gonna be even worse. But if it get to the mid to late rounds and Terrence Crawford still ain't found that perfect shot, remember, I just saw a breakdown from Teddy Atlas on Gervonta Tank Davis, who I think the title of the video he did with Brian Custer was that Tank Davis is one of the most complete fighters in the sport. And again, going back to my fighter ratings, I had Tank Davis rated higher than anybody because I think Tank Davis has everything. And he gave an analogy of like a superintendent, you know, with a big ring of keys trying to find which key works to open up the door. If Terrence Crawford can't find that key, like Tank Davis has done his whole career, like Terrence Crawford has done in every fight at welterweight, if he can't find that key, that right punch to knock out Earl Spence or hurt him, Earl Spence ain't gonna respect shit coming from him, man. He gonna walk him down and beat him up. That's just what it's gonna be. So Terrence Crawford got to knock out Earl Spence. if he don't find that shot mid to late in the fight, he will lose on the cards. It's gonna be a 116, 112, 115, 113 type of fight for Earl Spence. Just like you seen with the Devin Haney and Loma fight. I think it's actually gonna be even more decisive because Earl Spence is a better fighter, a more complete fighter than let's say a Devin Haney. You know, he's a stronger fighter. I just think stylistically this fight favors Earl Spence. It just makes sense for Earl Spence to win this fight. You dig what I'm saying? Now, don't get it fucked up. Terrence Crawford is a phenomenal fighter, a great counterpuncher. I think he might be the best finisher in the sport, one of the best offensive fighters in the sport. But with Earl, he can't just fight in spurts, or he can't wait so long to start picking it up. And he can't just rely on one big counter shots, two big counter shots. He can't just rely on that. He gonna have to increase his work rate, because if he can't knock out Earl Spence, all the work that Earl done put in, the body work, the jab, the pressure coming forward, the judges like that shit. All that work that Earl Spence done put in is gonna pay off on the scorecard when the fight is over. And the other side of this is that if Terrence Crawford can't hurt Earl Spence and Earl get that full head of steam, he gonna fuck around and stop Terrence Crawford. Earl Spence fuck around and stop Terrence Crawford. I'm telling y'all, man, even though I think this is a 50-50 fight, and the reason I'm giving it 50-50 is because I think Terrence Crawford is that great. I think his counterpunching ability is that great. I think his power is that great. I think his accuracy and timing is that great. I think his ability to find that key, using a Teddy Atlas analogy, is that great. I give him a 50% chance to be successful. But I just think Earl Spence, stylistically, he matches up perfect with Terrence Crawford, man. So, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. You know, do y'all believe that the fight is actually gonna happen this time around? How y'all feeling? You know, break it down for me. You know, I know some of y'all got sources. You feel me? Let me know what y'all think, man. Again, Bud has, you know, he's been posting it. He got it on his website. I haven't seen Earl confirm or deny anything, so we'll see what happens, man. But I'm just letting y'all know, I feel even more confident that Earl Spence is gonna beat Terrence Crawford the fuck up. I ain't gonna lie. And if Terrence Crawford can't hurt him, if he can't knock him out, bruh, I just don't see how he wins this fight. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.